This is a Louie Tee Network exclusive.
For those of you who don't know, I'm Louie Tee, host of the Louie Tee Network, and this is One Burning Question, a series that will take a look at all 32 teams in the National Football League and pose a question. Some teams will have micro questions where we look at the team in its current state and talk about what could potentially happen for them in this season, and some will take a macro approach where we kind of open up the lens a bit and take a step back and look at it from a wide view look and perspective and talk about where these franchises might be going in the future, not just this season, but moving forward. So I'll take a look at each and every single team, ask a burning question, answer that question, and move on to the next team. Thank you for joining me. Enjoy One Burning Question. Welcome to this In the Lab Room exclusive series, One Burning Question. I, of course, as always, am your host, Louie Tee. Thank you for joining me on this program. Today we're talking about the Atlanta Falcons. What a disappointing campaign this has turned out to be. Started with all the promise in the world, started the season at 5-0, ultimately started the season 6-1, and haven't won a game since, losing 6 consecutive games in a row, and the last of which a blowout loss to the Carolina Panthers. This is a struggling franchise right now, and the fact that we're even questioning the future of the head coach, it's a little disheartening. And yeah, Thomas Dimitroff, maybe he needs to be on the hot seat. This team looks like they're lacking talent in certain areas, but the fact that we've gotten to this point when the season was at one point 6-1, mind-boggling. Let's ask this one burning question for the Atlanta Falcons. Have we seen the best of Matt Ryan, or is Kyle Shanahan's offense too much for Matt Ryan to digest? I wasn't buying that latter portion of the question when I first heard it. Two dense of an offense for Matt Ryan to process? Come on, man. What are we talking about? This guy is a veteran. He's a pro's pro. He's been in a few offenses throughout his career. He's a smart guy. No way Kyle Shanahan's offense is too much for him to digest. Are you crazy? Get out of here with that nonsense, man. And as I continue to watch, I'm not sure if this offense isn't too much for him. But more importantly, the first portion of that question is the one that really strikes a chord with me. Have we seen the best of Matt Ryan? I look at him, and the struggles of this football team, to me, are tied directly to his poor play. You could talk about the red zone turnovers. Look, I haven't seen a team turn the football in the red zone like this Falcons team ever in my life. I mean, the things that they do in the red zone are comical and almost hard to explain. My sister's an Atlanta Falcons fan, and we be watching the game together, and it's crazy. My sister, she's a delusional fan, and when I say delusional, not in a good way. When this team was 5-0, she said, we're not good. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I know 31 other teams, well, there are other undefeated teams. I know about 25 other teams that would kill to be 5-0 right now. She said, we're not a good team. This season's gonna fall apart. And I'm like, you're crazy, man. Get out of here with that nonsense. And when they lost their first game, she said, we should have lost to the Redskins. We're gonna lose more games. We're not good. We turn the ball over all the time. Matt Ryan's struggling. They're not throwing the football to Roddy White. I said, calm down. What are you talking about? She was talking a million miles per second. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? Calm down. You guys are fine. You just lost your first game of the season. She said, there's more to come. Sure enough, they barely beat the Titans, and I called her on the phone after the game, and we talked, and she said, we should have lost that game. We suck. You're 6-1. She forecasted the future. They didn't win another game after that win against the Titans. And it was an ugly win, 10-7. Not going to win many games in this league scoring 10 points. They did. They found the one team in the league that would allow them to win with 10 points. But they haven't found another team in the league to let them win a game since. And Matt Ryan is the big cause of why they're struggling. I look at this defense, And I thought they were going to be the problem at the beginning of the season. I said, this offense is going to ring teams up, but that defense is going to make sure that this team doesn't win 12 and I predicted 11-5 before the season started. I said, this defense is going to be the reason they don't win 12 or 11 games this season because the offense is going to score 31 a game. And then I looked up and the defense was the one carrying this football team. Literally, they put the team on their back. They're getting turnovers. They're stopping teams. They're giving this football team a chance in games that they shouldn't even be in. And they finally broke against the Panthers. That defense gave up 21 points in the first quarter. They finally said, you know what? We can't do this anymore. We quit. And they quit. They gave up against the Carolina Panthers. And I look at Matt Ryan and I said, this is your fault. This is all your fault. The turnovers that he's had this season, and it's not just interceptions, every time he gets hit, he fumbles a goddamn ball. Against Carolina, they're driving down and they're trying to make something of the game. K1 short hits him, and the ball goes backwards like 25 yards. Hold on to the goddamn ball, man. And so he's throwing picks, he's fumbling the football, he's making poor decisions, even worse throws. It'd be one thing, and again, I always talk about quarterbacks and I say, look, I can always take the interception where a guy just makes an outstanding play. You made a good read, a good decision, just made a poor throw. Those happen, okay? Look around the league. Guys make poor throws all the time. Right decision, poor throw. He's making bad decisions. I'm looking, I'm like, what the hell was your thought process when you threw that pass? When you thought that was a good idea, what was your thought process? Throwing into triple coverage in the end zone when you got a field goal at worst, what was the thought process there? Versus the Vikings when you threw the ball to Terrence Newman in the end zone, what was the thought process there? When you threw the ball right to DeQuell Jackson to change the game against the Colts, what was the thought process there? What were you thinking about? What was in your brain when you did that? When you threw the football straight to Levante David versus the Bucks to lose that game, what was the thought process there? What were you thinking about? You couldn't have been using your brain because obviously those were poor decisions. And that's not something I'm accustomed to seeing from Matt Ryan. And right now I think he's struggling with confidence. He's struggling with the ability to just make rational decisions. He's forcing the football to Julio Jones. The running game was great early, it fell off the table, and so they started to have to rely on Matt Ryan, and that was a bad thing. It used to not be that bad of a thing to have to rely on Matt Ryan to win you football games. But this season, when the run game kind of started to settle down, because it was outstanding. From that Dallas game on, Devontae Freeman was a superstar. Then he gets injured, has the concussion against the Colts, and the run game has started to tail off before then, but it really went south after that, and you really had to rely on Matt Ryan, and he struggled. Tevin Coleman, it'd be nice that every time he got out in space, he didn't fumble the goddamn football. That'd be nice too, but look, at the end of the day, it all falls on the shoulders of Deuce. Number 2, Matt Ryan. He hasn't played well this season. In fact, he's played terribly. And I think that if he would play better, this team would have 8, 9 wins on their resume right now. But because he's been so poor this season, and he's played so bad to the point, much like Peyton Manning, he's played so bad to the point that I've asked myself, have we seen the best of Matt Ryan? I'm not sure. I'm asking you, have we seen the best of Matt Ryan? I'm not sure we haven't. I'll ask the question again. Have we seen the best of Matt Ryan, or is Kyle Shanahan's offense too much for Matt Ryan to digest? I don't know if it's too much for him to digest. I just think he's struggling with confidence. Yeah, it's tough when you come into a new offense, first year. You expect some struggles. You expect there to be some things that you have to iron out. That's not uncommon in this league for a guy to not be as comfortable in year one of a new offensive scheme. My problem is he's making poor decisions. New offense or not, new scheme or not, the decision making, that doesn't change. Whether you're in a new scheme or one you've been in for 14 years, that doesn't change. Making smart decisions is part of playing the quarterback position. Matt Ryan hasn't been doing that this year. And to make matters worse, to compound the situation, he's making some really bad throws when he is making good decisions. That's the Atlanta Falcons. The one burning question. I'm Louie Tee. See you next time.